Imagine coming home after a grueling shift, craving nothing but a cold beer and some peace in your own damn backyard, only to find your garden looking like a war zone, sprinklers crushed, herbs stomped flat, and a gate lock dangling like it had been mugged. That's exactly what hit me like a freight train one muggy afternoon in suburban Oak Ridge, where the American dream supposedly thrives under the watchful eye of picket fences and petty tyrants. But oh, the irony. Those boot prints weren't from some random vandal. They belonged to the very people sworn to protect our neighborhood harmony, the HOA board, caught red-handed on my security cams playing amateur detectives with all the grace of elephants in a china shop. My name's Alex Rivera, and I'm just your average guy, a firefighter who's seen enough real chaos to know when someone's manufacturing their own. I live alone in this cookie-cutter cul-de-sac, where every house looks like it was stamped from the same mold, and the air hums with the subtle threat of conformity. For months, whispers had been circulating about me. That guy's too reclusive, they'd say at block parties I never attended. Probably hiding something shady back there. It started small rumors that my backyard shed was some illicit operation. Maybe a grow house or a bootleg distillery. All because I skipped their mandatory community spirit events. I heard it through the grapevine. Darla Kensington, the HOA president and reigning queen of nosy busybodies, had been dropping hints at meetings, painting me as the neighborhood pariah. We can't have antisocial elements undermining our values, she'd coo in that saccharine voice, all while her eyes gleamed with the thrill of a witch hunt. Me, I kept my head down, fixed my truck in the driveway, and tended my veggies. But inside, I was watching, cataloging every snide comment, every sideways glance. Patience isn't weakness. It's a loaded gun waiting for the right moment. That day, the footprints led straight to the broken latch on my back gate, the kind with a heavy padlock I'd installed after the last wave of gossip made me paranoid. Mud caked the soles of whatever boots had done this, and my basil patch, ruined, leaves scattered like confetti from a bad party. I didn't panic. Instead, I pulled up the app on my phone, the one connected to the discrete cameras I'd set up around the perimeter, not because I'm some conspiracy nut, but because in a place like this, privacy is a myth. And there they were, in glorious high-def, Darla, with her signature pearl necklace and that eternal clipboard, flanked by her loyal lapdogs, Ted and Marjorie. They looked ridiculous, like a trio of wannabe spies from a bad sitcom, huffing as they hoisted themselves over the fence. Darla went first, her skirt snagging on a splinter, muttering, "Hurry up, you two. We don't have all day for this inspection. The bylaws give us every right. It's for the greater good." Ted, the balding accountant type, grumbled back, "But Darla, shouldn't we have knocked? What if he's home?" She shot him a withering look. "Nonsense. Rebels like him don't deserve courtesy. Look at this yard. It's practically screaming noncompliance. They tromped through like they owned the place, which in their twisted minds, they probably thought they did." Marjorie snapped photos with her phone, zooming in on my modest patio I'd built last fall. Fully permitted, mind you, with stamps from the city hall gathering dust in my files. "See, that thing's an eyesore," Darla hissed, pointing her pen like a dagger. "No approval form on file. We'll slap him with a fine that'll make his eyes water." Meanwhile, Ted accidentally kicked over a watering can, spilling it everywhere, and Marjorie stepped right on a row of zucchini seedlings, crunching them under her sensible loafers. "Oops," she said, without a hint of apology. "Well, That's what happens when people don't maintain properly. They poked around my shed, rattling the door, whispering about unauthorized structures, but found nothing because there was nothing to find. 15 minutes of destruction later, they clambered back out, leaving the gate busted and my garden in shambles. I stood there in my living room, replaying the footage, a slow burn building in my chest. It wasn't just the damage. It was the sheer audacity, the entitlement wrapped in a bow of community standards. I printed screenshots, dusted off my permits, and started jotting notes. This wasn't going to slide, not anymore. The next morning, I brewed a pot of strong coffee and plotted my first move. I'd been the quiet one long enough, letting their rumors fester like weeds. Now, it was time to pull them out by the roots. I headed to the HOA clubhouse, a squat building that smelled like stale coffee and faded glory, right in the middle of their weekly gripe session. Darla was holding court at the front, droning on about Mrs. Henderson's slightly overgrown hedges, a blatant disregard for our aesthetic guidelines. Folks, we must uphold standards or chaos ensues. I pushed open the door with a polite nod, manila folder tucked under my arm like a secret weapon. Heads turned, whispers started. Darla's eyes narrowed behind her cat eyeglasses. Mr. Rivera, this is a closed meeting. Residents must schedule concerns in advance. I smiled, the kind that doesn't reach your eyes. Oh, this won't take long, Darla. Just wanted to address the little visit you paid my property yesterday. The room went pin-drop silent. Ted fidgeted. Marjorie suddenly found her notes fascinating. Visit, Darla echoed, her voice pitching up an octave, like I'd accused her of jaywalking on Mars. I have no idea what you're talking about. I slid the printed stills across the table, clear shots of her mid-climb, clipboard in hand. Really? Because my cameras beg to differ. You, Ted, Marjorie trespassing, breaking my lock, wrecking my garden. All in the name of inspection. Huh. Gasps rippled through the dozen or so attendees. Darla blinked rapidly, clutching her pearls. Those cameras are an invasion of privacy. You can't just record without consent. I chuckled, low and mirthless. Pot, meat kettle. You were on my land without mine. And here's the kicker. I dropped the permit copies next. My patio's legit. City approved. But you're looking at criminal trespass and vandalism. Ted swallowed audibly, his Adam's apple bobbing like a yo-yo. Darla, maybe we should. She cut him off with a sharp wave. This is preposterous. We're the board, we enforce the covenants. You skipped the flower planting mandate. Clear sign of non-cooperation. I leaned in, voice steady. Mandate is a volunteer event. Darla. Not the law. But breaking into my yard? That's actual crime. See you in court. I turned on my heel and left, their sputtering protests music to my ears. Outside, I filed the police report online before my truck even left the lot. Satisfaction? Not yet. This was just the appetizer. Word spread like wildfire in a dry summer. Neighbors texting, porch chats turning into hushed scandals. By evening, my phone buzzed with messages from folks I'd barely nodded to before. Is it true? Darla actually climbed your fence. I kept responses short, letting the rumor mill do the work for once. The cops called the next day. Officer Reyes wanted to swing by. She arrived in a patrol car that turned heads on our quiet street, notepad in hand. Mr. Rivera, Show me the damage. We walked the yard, her boots crunching over the same mud they'd left. They cut this lock clean through bolt cutters, I'd bet. And these plants, trampled deliberately? I nodded. Footage shows it all. They were hunting for dirt on my patio. But it's permitted. She whistled low. HOA's gone rogue, we get complaints, but evidence like this, gold. Press charges. Absolutely, as she documented. I added, this isn't new. They've been spreading lies about me for months, saying my shed's suspicious, that I'm unneighborly, all because I don't kiss the ring. Reyes paused, pen hovering. Sounds like harassment. We'll pull statements from them. If they double down, it gets uglier for him. Sure enough, the board got summoned downtown. Darla showed up at my neighbor's door that afternoon, looking frazzled, her perm frizzing in the humidity. I overheard from my window. It's all a misunderstanding. That man is trying to tear down everything we've built for this community. My neighbor, old Mr. Jenkins, snorted. Built? You mean find us into submission? Climb any more fences lately? Darla? She stormed off, face red as a beet. The emergency meeting was announced via frantic emails. Mandatory attendance. Of course. The community room was packed, tension thick as fog. Darla stood podium proud, voice quivering with faux authority. Fellow residents, baseless accusations threaten our unity. We act only per bylaws, for your benefit. From the back, someone misses. Patel, I think, called out, Unity? You mean breaking into yards like common thieves? Murmurs swelled. I rose calmly. No accusations. Darla. Facts. You didn't notify, didn't ask, you invaded and destroyed. And it's not just me. How many here have felt your enforcement? Hands shot up. Ted stammered. We thought it was necessary. I shot back. Necessary like your secret fines without votes? I've petitioned the city for an audit. Sign if you're tired of this nonsense. The room erupted in nods. Signatures poured in. Darla's composure cracked, her clipboard trembling. This is insubordination, but the tide had turned, and she knew it. As the petition hit critical mass, the city stepped in, freezing HOA actions pending review. Officer Reyes updated me. They admitted entry but claimed implied rights. No proof, though. And that lock? Definite destruction. Charges incoming. I dug deeper, requesting old minutes. Buried in the jargon. A rejected proposal for a scenic trail slicing through backyards. Mine included. Emails subpoenaed revealed Darla's dealings with a slick developer, promising land for kickbacks. Will fabricate a violation, one read. He's not a team player. Black humor hit me. Here she was, preaching morals while plotting land grabs. I shared with Reyes. Fraud, right? She grinned. Bingo. Investigations expanding. The audit unearthed a cesspool. Unauthorized fines, personal perks, entries on other properties. Neighbors shared stories. Fines for wrong bird feeders. Forced relandscaping. At the city hearing, Darla blustered. It's for property values. The rep deadpanned. Values like embezzling dues for your cousin's lawn service? Ted threw her under the bus. I didn't know. Marjorie whimpered agreement. The board dissolved. Elections loomed under oversight. Court day dawned crisp. I suited up. Evidence stacked. Darla arrived disheveled. Lawyer in tow. The judge eyed her. You promised private land to outsiders? Entered without warrant. She sputtered. HOA covenants supersede. He barked laughter. Not law, ma'am. Guilty trespass. Destruction. Fraud. Restitution ordered. Bans imposed. The class action suit followed. Refunds flowing like rain after drought. Post-meltdown, the neighborhood breathed. New board? Transparent. Event-focused, no fines, just fun. I hosted a grill-out, turnout massive. Darla's house went dark. Yard weedy, poetic justice. I replanted, added a sign, private paradise, trespassers will be composted. Laughter echoed where fear once ruled. But here's the kicker. In a world where clipboard wielders play God, was Darla the villain, or just a symptom of a system begging for abuse? True or false? HOAs protect communities, or do they breed mini-dictators? Drop your take below. Let's debate who really owns home.